24 and 4 Part 2. By better employing our human resources, we can have a 24-hour work week in 4 years with more disposable income and disposable time for self, family, and community in a safer, saner world.
Government reduction from 24 and 4. We can cut government size by more than half. But where are we going to put the unemployed government workers? On tax-supported unemployment programs? Taxes won't change. We just shift to the future or to crime. Do you realize how many government programs have been created so as to have jobs for people? Should we reduce the work week to absorb the civil servants discharged when we shrink the government? Tax reform and 24 and 4. Currently, the tax system consumes 6% of the gross domestic product. In a sense, about 6% of the population manages taxes. That is 2.4 hours per 40-hour work week per person. 6% of the work week. What's bad about tax reform that consumes less than half of a percent of the gross domestic product? What do we do with the tax workers? We could put them on tax-supported programs. Dumb. No gain for the average person. In other words, we would foolishly trade supporting employed tax bureaucrats for tax-supported unemployed ex-bureaucrats. Should we reduce the work week to absorb the people unemployed from simplifying the tax system? Tom Sawyer got a neighborhood boy to work for him and pay him. When able-bodied people can't find work but can find tax reports, they are the modern-day Tom Sawyers. We are the neighborhood dupes. Is it smart of us to work for the Tom Sawyers through the tax system because we won't give or offer them the chance and time to work? Why go to a cash bar if there are open bars? Some will exclaim, "You can't tell me I can't work as much as I want." Does society have a right to tell you that you can't work as much as you want? Isn't that what you are telling the unemployed or underemployed by working overtime? If you are working 2 jobs, aren't you telling someone they can't work 1 job? If 2 people are working 1.5 jobs, aren't they denying someone a job? If 4 people are working 10 hours of overtime, aren't they telling the one person you can't work? The following example needs to be applied to human workforce as a whole. If 2 people are on a deserted island and one says the other cannot work, one of 2 things will happen. 1. The worker will work twice as much to feed and shelter the non-worker, for the non-workers can only get their needs met by those who work. Or 2. The non-worker kills the work pig who hogs the work. If you work more than 24 hours a week, you are telling the misemployed that they don't have a right to work as much as they need. Of course, you aren't working for yourself. You are supporting the misemployed as only the tax-paying workers can. If anyone is legitimizing the right of society to reduce the work week, it is those who are reducing the work week of others by hogging work. The basic form of all discrimination is work hogging, which knows no sex, religion, or age bias. If you are employed and not calling for adjusting the work week to have full employment, then you legitimize your suffering if you become unemployed. Inflationary bubbles from work hogging. History is full of inflationary bubbles in which a person, country, or continent lived beyond its means by cancerously consuming the infrastructure upon which safe and secured sustained growth could be achieved. Would you be willing to work less to have more wealth and security in your old age? The stock market is an inflationary bubble fueled by the excess income of people taking work from the misemployed. That is, the stock market has become an index of cancerous destruction of the work ethic in others. The bubble will burst when there are insufficient workers to maintain the putative corporate profits behind stock prices. Many retirements will be lost in the general collapse of stock prices. Many overworkers cancerously are consuming their retirement. Working smart or working hard? Because we unnecessarily work overtime, we work for others who cannot find good work, and we undermine our retirement. Isn't this working dumb and hard instead of working smart and less? All work and no politics make Jack and Jill poor workers with no insurance, security, health care, and retirement. Ponder this final summary questions. Would you like more time and money for yourself, your family, and community in a safer, saner world? If you would, the answer is to reduce the work week. There's a simple way to do it. Each quarter, overtime should start at 1 hour or less. In 3 months, the overtime would start at 39 hours. In another 3 months, it would start at 38 hours. In 16 quarters, we would have a 24-hour work week, with more time and money for self, family, and community in a safer, saner world. With more time, we will be able to achieve self-actualization in understanding who we are in the world where we live. For a new human renaissance, timeism has developed the tools, applications, foresight, vision, and foundation. These are not symbols of false promises, but the substance of real hope. Applications to implement 24 and 4 are internet-based. Touchstone Manager is a compensation accounting system to quantify one's problem solving so as to be rewarded in the currency which is created in solving a problem, time, that is, life hours. Life hours are the universal absolute currency that transcends the boundaries of nations and centuries. Democratic capitalism is the online meritocracy that finds the best problem solver to efficiently and effectively solve problems. With online democracy and capitalism, we can have democracy per diem and capitalism per capita for a safer, saner world. A democratic capitalist is what a compassionate conservative claims but avoids. For better democracy, the better the people. For optimal democracy brings out the best in people. The better the capitalism, the better the profits. For optimal capitalism brings out the best in profits. Brain bees are like spelling bees that spell out the best problem-solving solutions and problem solvers. These applications reward and require responsibility of capable individuals. For optimism, opt for timeism.
Without the logical, obvious hope provided by the applications of timeism, these dismal, gloomy discoveries, mined by the timeistic clutter-cutter, would deflate an optimistic optimist. Necronomics is a listing of major social, economic, and political laws that are lies to living. In the early 1980s, this writer wrote, by the year 2000, the necrotic predictions were off by 3 years. Now we are witnessing the foreseen existential meltdown. Existential meltdown describes how our problem-solving institutions are disintegrating in the face of increasing problems. Our combined means to save time by solving problems is melting before our eyes. We are running out of time. Decapitalism describes the rape and murder of capitalism by people who use habitual politicians to legalize thievery in the form of destructive tax supports, monopolistic businesses, and greedy income. Capitalism does not fair. Liars and thieves misappropriate the word for their chicanery. Global dying will kill us long before global warming. The impact of rising carbon dioxide levels affects precipitation patterns, which destroy societies. This destruction creates the human cancer spreading into nations where the CO2 impact has only just begun to destroy economies. Nonetheless, an optimist is an optimal timist and sees hope.
Reforms for a Sound Future. The books on critical reforms were written in the early 1980s. They are the basis for 24 and 4 being a real possibility. The buzzword of reinventing government has gone into the politician's speech closet, but the need for reform has not. Removing the flood wall of problem diversion is not a cure, but an immediate flooding of everyday life with problems previously held at bay. Cutting taxes without first cutting problems will only increase the problems. Balance the dollar budget is a prescription for disaster if you first don't balance the human budget. To be optimistic is to be optimally timistic. Visions for better economics, currency, business, and work week. One need not be a timid mystic to be timistic.